What's going on, everybody? Gustav the 13th here with another video. This week actually saw us get two banners for the 10th of July 2026, and the second one is our new Geara Zulu CM. I actually don't know what the CM counts for. What is that? Is it just the actual gun itself? Is there someone that's actually in here that's an ace? Oh, Kara Masaka. I actually put a picture of who that's supposed to be, but it is a support. 600 cost ground space with a compatibility for space. Rarity 3, melee priority 1. This actually has a 4-step banner. This is another one of those ones that they just spit out 4 levels of. The weapons and all that, you can grab all that good shit. So, we're going to be talking strictly about the 600 cost version. You guys can figure out the rest for these other guys as it scales up, especially because this suit, because it starts where it starts, actually does go to 750, and we have seen 1 or 2 of them try to get in there and be cheeky. And it's interesting, very interesting suit, just because it feels like another attempt at what they did for the Zaku machinery, except it has a lot more explosive ordnance put on it to follow up with this rifle. So this rifle is actually just a Gurobi rifle. The neutral shot shoots out a certain amount of stream here. We have a range of 450 in general, which probably, I'm assuming, pops up back to 500 when it's charged. Continuous suppression. Normal does not suppress but deals continuous damage. Focus fire offers suppression together with continuous damage. So a little bit more on the stun side for the focus one. Not heavy stagger though. It's just a longer beam that guarantees a little bit more stun and lasts longer in terms of the charge itself. We have a heat hawk here for under 3,000. Should have just been 3,000. It's 2,900 for fuck's sake. Especially because it's priority one anyway. And it does have, I'm assuming, balancers. So you can still rock it on the move. The nice thing about the rifle, speaking of on the move, is that you can charge for the extra charge shot on here while moving. It also does have a rapid shot here. 700 power, 400 range for this one, as opposed to 450 for the base one. Decent amount of accumulation, considering a lot of the stuff that's going to be buzzing around at 600 in particular. Nice to have. The stat to fire is a little bit scary, especially because it doesn't really have any Vulcans or anything to follow up with. Your follow-up is assuming that they're already on the ground, and you can just throw left and right. So they're not fired together. You can actually just do both of them. They have an ammo of 4, which means that you have 2 shots that'll cool down and get in there at once. They shoot both at once, power of 1,000. So 1,000 times 2, range of 200 for both of these. Moving on to our health and all the good stuff, stats and skills. We got 20k health on here. Resistance is 28, 29, and 19 for ballistic beam and melee. Obviously, support suit. Oh, it has to be vulnerable to all these really high, damage rates. So that's where they're gonna put you. Unfortunately, the slottage doesn't really allow you to do too much about it, but it is what it is. Range strength of 45 baseline. I'm assuming from its upgrades, it's probably gonna get to like 51 or some bullshit like that. And then we get to melee strength 15. Nothing too surprising when it comes to support attacks, right? Movement speed of 130, top speed of 190, thruster gauge of 70, and a turning speed of 60. Parts loss wise, we got 12, 16, and 18 for close, medium, and long. Honestly, I know it's probably about par the course or stuff at this cost, but I wish that in general would just be a little bit higher. For skills then, we have high performance radar, high performance scope, observational data link, scout parallel processing device, high performance aerospace gimbal because it is space compatibility, frontline support system on level 2. That's a 50% increase when it comes to if there's several of them on the field. There are things that do have frontline support system, but baseline shortens respawn time for allied units by 10%. Light shot absorber 2, anti-blast stabilizer 1, damage control 1, high performance balancer 1, high spec AMBEC 2, force injector 2, special left arm equipment buffer, which is weird. I think just because it has that extra jagged thing on the left arm for the shoulder itself, but that in particular, never mind the arm buffers that it has or whatever, is 35%. So the back add-on buffer, which is interesting, I guess it's just for the pack itself, is 30%. But it also has a mobile firing system level 2 anyway, because it's got to sit there and rock that rifle. So activated while using a ranged weapon, you must stop to fire. Reduces reaction caused by ranged attacks and stagger when hit consecutively by attacks without suppressive effects. Damage received from ranged attacks also reduced by 20%. Something you gotta consider here is that by the time this drops at 600, the Super Gundam's already there. So in several instances, especially on bigger, more ranged maps, where you're gonna be trading with them, even with your charge shot, and they're just gonna be able to sit there on like prone or whatever and just nail you for a heavy stagger. They're gonna get through your mobile firing system pretty easy. You gotta be a little bit careful about that. But, you know, you can still handle things pretty well. I think this is gonna, and this is why people are trying to rock it at higher costs, because they have to deal with the super and stuff. Certain situations might make this a bit of a better pick. You know, especially if you're not really keen on the bigger Groby charge weight for the other suit. This one by comparison, in fact, I'm kind of curious. Let me see. Charge time on this is like 2 seconds. It's relatively fast. Where is the super? Charge time on this is actually 2 seconds. So I guess in that regard, considering that it also has the rapid, the bigger difference would be the missile pods here just being a really big salvo. Obviously the heat rate, I think so, 75 and 40. You back up, go back in here. Why am I still chosen on this? Oh my lord. That's not bad. What the hell? Yeah, let me fix that. 60% and 23% for the rapid. So the rapid is a little bit more forgiving, but even so, doing some just quick comparisons here, because at the end of the day, you are going to be competing with the super when it comes to that stuff. Just because of the way that the layout is and all this other shit. It's also interesting because this is where the baseline Geara Zulu Angelo comes in, which also did get adjusted. So this is one of those things where I feel like this suit in particular, if you really think it's particularly neat just because of the Garobis, by all means. Otherwise, there's a lot of other suits, support-wise, that behave very similarly, have slightly different aspects to them, but they'll probably work just as well. I mean, for fuck's sake, this is also from that era of having the heavy arms type here, which is level boosted, which means it's going to have more wiggle room to do certain things. But, getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. It also has the anti-air auxiliary programs, so increases ranged attack damage to airborne favorable category enemies by 50%. Enemies that are airborne due to a skill effect are also targeted. In that regard, it does kind of make me wish that this had something a little bit more akin to like the 89 and other suits like that that had the anti-air suit situation where like if you just hit somebody, it just knocks them out of the sky. If you really wanted to differentiate this thing enough, that would have been a nicer thing to put on it. Maybe a little busted, but my thing is, and you'll see it when we get into practice, that rifle is a Garobi. It does let you move it, but only very slightly. So I think they should reward you for sweeping people into that a lot more than they are right now. Enhancement list-wise, though, we have +1 to anti-beam modifier, +1 to ballistic resistance, +1 to range strength, and the complex expansion slot comes in at 2110. The unlockables then are +5 to anti-beam modifier, and the last one is 6330 for +5 to range system. So, like we said, +6 to range in general, putting you at like 51 by the end if you get all that. And it's gonna take you a second, but not too shabby. Let us get down to business here. And we'll show this off a little bit. I have a sneaking suspicion that I may or may not put this at the right cost. Oh no, we're good. So, something that we should definitely note. The regular Garobi can stun everything here, but these are all different varying ranges of damage control. No, yes, yes. Highest one out of the three, I'm pretty sure. And that's just the regular shot. As you see there, that is actually a longer one that does stun. There's no build up, no nothing. Just makes content, makes stun. That is something that you are going to have to keep in mind and be a little bit careful of when you're hitting stuff that is on the move that can resist that kind of shit. That's going to be a different ballgame altogether. You mostly want to try to sweep them with the regular one and maybe follow up if they're still being stubborn with this. As you can see, with something that's a little bit heavier in damage control, you do have to do both volleys relatively quickly. For anything else, I think it might just be a single volley. We'll see. If not, then it's like a fourth extra shot. Let us take a gander. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there you go. So no DC or nothing. 3. Short one there. Relatively fast change time, as you can see there. And that movement amount is just very, very minimal. It's kind of shitty. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wish that they would let you move that a little bit more than barely any at all. The missiles then, doing what they do. Not too awful. Good amount of output, especially if you do bump out that range. Let's try to do a sweep with the charged one, because it does, I think it does last a little bit longer, even if it's mostly just changing the property. Yeah, that's rough. It's not at a point where I think throwing on turning speed is going to really change it or make it worthwhile. So it is something you're just going to have to lead in with a little bit more, have them sweep into. You are going to lose certain amounts of damage when you do that. And obviously, if you do find something on the ground, take full advantage of that and just piss it right into their legs. No problem, right? Very straightforward suit. Mostly just for the rifle itself. And that's fine. That's all it's got to do. I wish in that case that the auxiliary for the aerial was more than just damage. Like I was saying before, it'd be nice if it could actually knock shit out of the sky. That's a different skill though. Looking at its general damage to the base, they make it abundantly clear that outside of the missiles, this is not a suit that's actually really meant for doing stuff to the base. In fact, ironically, I was saying that the Contia doesn't really do a whole lot, but compared to that thing, no problem. It's, you know, the Contia's actually got a lot of stuff to cycle through that does do a decent baseline little chunk of damage. This one you got to work at a little bit, and even if you do put in some extra range on this, say you got the higher baseline and you get it to like, you know, 60, almost 70 plus, it might do more then. But mostly you're just the guy who's got to fend off everyone else from causing trouble when, you know, these other suits start slapping on the base. Because you got to put in some work to even get where we're at, which is a itty bitty chunk of this stuff. Still, interesting suit. The range of its costs makes it something that people will probably incidentally get while they're spinning for other things. So if you really want this, I would recommend just doing the level 1 and then waiting until the other banners, because the game's gonna spit these out at you and their weapons whether you want them or not. You can be guaranteed to that. So we got some matches for this suit in general. Not too shabby. A little bit rough just because, like I said, it's a bit lacking in terms of the stun potential, not having a heavy stagger and stuff like the super. It has a lot of competition for just long rifle range kind of supports at this cost, but we do have that match. We're going to put it right around here.
Mobile suit team, prepare for launch.
Alright, let's try a shit again. Goddamn. So the gun's interesting, mostly because the heat rate on this is surprisingly not awful. I feel like the Zaki machinery kind of had issues with that. I think the thing that really bugs me right now is that the charge is just a longer Gurobi. And like the accumulation is not a lot for how little this thing's able to move the beam, which sucks.
No impact on combat yet.
Like he just didn't get stunned by that. And like, granted, that's whatever the hell it's called.
Ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Like, it's not an Ashimar. It's an Anksha, but like still, ugh. Like you shouldn't be able to get away from you like that. There you go.
Enemy mobile suit destroyed.
No, no, no.
Damage. Take defensive action.
Put some pressure on him. Oh. We both had the same idea. Get out of here, fuckhead.
Ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Your mobile suit has been destroyed. An allied unit's been destroyed. Pick where and how you'll sortie. Welcome back.
Here we go again. No, 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 no.
Enemy mobile suit. The enemy has captured. An allied unit's been destroyed. Minor damage detected.
Oh my god, why are you all just watching me get blown up?
The mobile suit has been destroyed. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. An allied unit's been destroyed.
Issue is, I don't think any of them are really particularly hurt right now. They definitely have the health advantage right now. Oh my god, it's just constantly on the edge of their fucking thing and it's not enough. Oh my god.
Your mobile suit is toast. Eject if you can. Your mobile suit has been destroyed.
Yeah, we're not gonna win. This shit sucks. Goddamn. I like the suit. I like the way that the gun works, but this group is just boo boo.
It's been destroyed. Welcome back. Minor damage detected. No impact on. Beacon captured. The enemy has captured. Your mobile suit has been destroyed. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. The enemy has captured a beacon. An allied unit's been destroyed. Welcome back. Boy, this is a pitched battle. Hang in there, okay?
We really need to cap that thing because I'm just gonna have people land behind me.
Allied unit's been destroyed. An ally is destroyed. An allied unit's been destroyed. Minor damage detected. An allied unit's been destroyed. I'm reading suit has been destroyed. Minutes remaining. Bases are now more valuable for this mission. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Welcome back. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Oh my god. There's no way that all of them cannot kill that one guy.
Supporting fire incoming! Beacon captured. One minute remaining. You've got this in the bag. The enemy has captured a beacon.
Oh my god.
Enemy soldier eliminated.
Oh, it's too fucking late now. Yay! Dummy.
An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. An allied unit's been destroyed. Enemy mobile suit destroyed.
Oh my god. Oh. Come on, dude.
Time has run out.
Oh, I paid.
Nice work out there. We won.
Yeah, I really want that beam to be able to travel better.
Here, this
The amount of turning that this gets when it actually fires is way too slow. So that was our round in our new big boy cannon sniper Zulu here. Not too bad. 600, I feel like you have a lot of competitor suits that are going to make it a bit of a tough call over them. But as it gets higher into cost, it has a lot more predators, and it's going to be hard to justify this as a support over anything else that's already kind of been rejected at those costs, unless you have some suits that are really willing to vouch and bat for you. And in particular, it was weird that we did see a couple of these when we were doing our 750 matches in the Conceal and stuff. 750 right now feels like some Wild West shit. And it feels like an environment, at least at like A and A+, that people are willfully just not choosing the V2, even though it's not really in that bad of a place by comparison for the stuff that we were seeing. And it makes me wonder what it's like at S- and S flat. If it's really very similar, if people on the lower end are doing the kind of costs that they're doing because people on the higher end are suggesting them or are trying to do them themselves. If it's just like a general sense of fatigue for that suit and some of the other 5 stars at that cost. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how that turns out, especially once we get the announcement for whatever the hell the actual anniversary suits are going to be, because they're definitely going to be some sort of 5-star shit. They're probably going to be 750 cost. You know, once those happens, we'll probably have a better sense of what the tone is going to be for a little while going forward at high cost. But it's a neat suit. If you have enough to burn and you just want to do like the first 10 spin to try it out, it's definitely more accessible that way. Like I said, if you're just waiting to do the anniversary stuff when we finally get the big reveal and those banners themselves, you're gonna get one of these one way or the other. I'd be very surprised, and you'd be pretty rough on your spins if you didn't get at least one. And honestly, I can see that kind of happening just because the spins that I did to get the Conceal itself, because of its own 4-stepper, pretty much just gave me nothing but beam sticks and bullshit, right? All the way up until the actual suit itself. So You know, GBO2 gacha, in general, pretty awful. Unfortunate, though it may be. But that's the long and short of it for this Geara Zulu. Running around, you'll probably still be seeing it harassing people at 600, 650 at the very least. Maybe some cheeky folks at 700 and 750. So be prepared for that, especially because this thing can do some output. This beam's going to trip you up a lot with the accumulation, and heaven forbid if they actually catch you lacking and not boosting with the regular just stun one. So that would be all for this. Keep an eye out for this and the Rig Conceal video this week. And until next time, this is Goose out of 13th. I'll talk to you all in the next video.